Hey everyone, it's CL with a spur of the moment response video to a topic that I've seen going around Twitter within the booktube community, and that is to Ber Faucheux's video on the problem with diversity in books, Rant. That is where essentially Ber goes on a 22-minute long rant on why she hates diversity and how diversity in literature is essentially not important. So I listened to Ber's video twice. It is 22 minutes long, and I listened to it twice to really try to understand what sort of message she was trying to convey, I'm trying to understand why she had the viewpoint she had. But in the end, we definitely had a differing of opinions, but that is why I'm making this video. I am making this video because I seen there was a lack of responses, and I wanted to make this video to kind of encourage others to participate in the discussion and to voice your opinions. That we don't need to do it in a hateful way. You don't need to leave a hate comment or anything like that, but to try to voice your opinion on why you feel diversity is important, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and go through my notes and touch on the topics that Ber ranted about that I felt stood out to me, but my battery is running low, so I'm going to kind of try to do this quickly. So one of the things that Ber ranted about was in regards to V.E. Schwab, and I think her video all started because there was a person on Twitter who tweeted V.E. Schwab and pointed out that there was a lack of diversity in her books. And Ber, during her rant, was trying to defend V.E. Schwab and say the reason why V.E. Schwab didn't write about diversity is because she was just writing what she knew. For one, I think it's very inappropriate for you to put words in an author's mouth and say that is the reason why, because it could be a multitude of reasons. And two, to say that, or to allude to the fact that V.E. Schwab didn't include diversity in her books is because she's only writing what she knows. That's like saying that V.E. Schwab doesn't know that people of color are just like any other person. We have jobs, we have families, we go to school. We're just like any other person. And to use that excuse that I'm just writing what I know is not a good enough excuse in my opinion. Now, as far as authors in general, if you come across an author who lacks diversity, do you need to leave like a hateful comment? No. But you can express yourself in a way where you can convey your view to the author, letting them know why diversity is important in literature. And if you ever do come across an author who you feel lacks diversity in their books for malicious reasons, then I am of the opinion that yes, you can express yourself in a non-hateful way, but also don't support that author. Don't give them any publicity. Don't give them their money. Don't buy anything, and kind of move on to an author that you really do support. So one of the things I really struggled with when watching Ber's rant video is that she kind of contradicts herself. She will say one thing and then 2 minutes before she says another thing, totally contradicting what she was saying. So for example, in part of her video, she goes on to say how diversity is bullshit and that it was designed to segregate us. But 2 minutes before she said that, she goes on and saying how she was saying that lack of diversity doesn't necessarily mean it's racist or something to that extent. And she says that people tend to desire being around their own races and ethnicities. So one, I disagree with that. I think that people gravitate to other people with the same interests, the same hobbies. People tend to gravitate towards the same people with the same personality types. I don't think that if you're white that you're automatically going to be best friends with someone that's white. I think you're going to be great friends or best friends with someone with the same interests, someone who shares or someone who complements your personality. So that's where I really struggle. She goes on to say diversity is bullshit and that it segregates that, yet she goes on and saying that how as a whole we tend to naturally be segregated. So if that's the case, wouldn't diversity be important? Now, one of the things that Ber goes on to point out is, in her opinion, is that when she hears the word diversity, when she hears it brought up to authors that there's a lack of diversity, she is hearing anti-white, that there's too much white people, that there shouldn't be white people in books, that it should just be people of color, and I totally disagree. When I think of diversity, when I hear lack of diversity, I interpret that as inclusion, that you can have as many white people in your books as you want, but please don't forget to include other people with other backgrounds other ethnicities, of different color, of different sexual orientations. Don't forget us. Don't forget about these people. Don't forget to include us. So there was a part in Bree's video where I think she went totally off topic and was kind of just highlighting her ignorant point of views, and that is where she goes on and on about how the birth rate of white people is at a decline, and she goes on to use Osama bin Laden as an example, that he has 20 children with 5 wives, and white people can't compete with this because they're trying to maintain morals and maintain the nuclear family and raise children in a good and strong household environment. Now, she said this in her video. Now, for the record, I think this is totally off topic to her whole rant with diversity. I think she is just highlighting her ignorant point of view, which could take a whole other separate response video. But for the record, white families are not the only families that have morals. They're not the only families. They're not the only nuclear families. They're not the only people that want to raise children in good and strong household environments. So I think she totally went off topic here, so I'm not even gonna respond to this any more than that, because I think that her viewpoint on this particular part of her video is very ignorant and is just highlighting her ignorant point of view. And in her video, she brings up Twitter and how she sees like these pictures posted of bookshelves or books with the caption of how to diversify your bookshelf, and how she feels that those who want a diverse bookshelf have some sort of superiority complex amongst everyone else, and how she wants you to quit shoving unearned superiority down her throat. And I think it's very selfish for Bree to think that these pictures that are being posted on Twitter are specifically geared towards her, that these people that are posting these pictures are conspiring to shove diversity down her throat. It is Twitter. If you don't like it, you can easily scroll past it. But don't belittle these pictures and say that it's geared towards people with some sort of superiority complex. But I think these pictures are geared towards people who do think diversity is important. I think these pictures are geared towards parents who think reading diverse literature to their children is important, because it lets them know that we live in a world where different cultures and ethnicities and different races intertwine. And at the end of Bree's video, she kind of sums it all up and says that diversity is anti-intellectual. I highly disagree with this. I think diversity is very important in literature. I think diversity is important in our culture, in our society, in our world as a whole. And I think lack of diversity supports ignorance and a singular mindset. So that is my opinion on her rant video. Please, I do encourage you to participate. Don't leave hate comments, but please leave thought-provoking comments. Please participate in the discussion by creating your own videos, participating in Twitter, leaving your own YouTube comments, or what have you. But definitely, we don't have to all agree, but I think it's a very important discussion topic. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you later.